That's nasty.
Welcome back, guys. It's your boy Chuck Nasty on Fantasy Football here. It is the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. So, you know what that means. It is week 13. You guys need some streaming defense options for this week, heading into the week before your playoffs. If you're already in the playoffs, obviously you need a good D this week on the waiver. Before we get into it, I want to share a real quick struggle of mine that's going to be an uphill battle. So, one of the fantasy leagues that I'm in, 5 of my 8 leagues have clinched playoff spots. One of them hangs in the balance of this week in week 13. And this is my highest buy-in league. First place is somewhere between 15 to 16,000. It's going to be a pretty big deal. But I am going to be sweating all week this week, and here's why. So, me and my team here, we're dead even on points with another team, and it is top 2 points in each division going to the playoffs. It comes down to the final week, all right? I've got Zeke against Buffalo, who's 16th ranked against run. Fournette against Tampa, who's 3rd against the run. And Ingram against San Fran, who's 1st against the run. Keenan against Denver, who is 3rd against the run. And the guy that we have to beat in points this week has Patrick Mahomes against Oakland and Christian McCaffrey against the Washington Redskins. Both are 28th against their respective positions. So I need a blessing. I need a prayer. And it is not going to be a good week, but I'm going to be sweating. Maybe it's just going to be meat sweats from Thanksgiving. I'm not sure yet. But I'm definitely going to be sweating out this matchup this week. So good luck to you guys as you go into the playoffs. But let's get into some streaming defense for week 13. So this past week, we had 3 picks. We had the Browns, we had the Lions, and we had the Titans. The Browns were the top pick because they play the Miami Dolphins, which is always a plus. Miami actually scored more points than I had initially thought they would, and more points than Vegas projected them for that matter, which is a lot of where we get these defense rankings from. So they ended up getting 24 points scored against, which was not a positive. Vegas had projected 20, but they did have 4 sacks, 2 picks, and they yielded a total of 8 points. So, it's not the huge upside that we're looking for, but you'll take 8 points from a defense any week. So that was definitely pretty good. I'm happy with that. I started them in a couple of leagues. The second pick was the Detroit Lions, who somehow managed to lose to the Washington Redskins 19-16. That game was absolutely bonkers, but they had 3 sacks, 1 interception, 1 fumble recovery, and 19 points scored against, yielding a total of 6 points. So, it's not great, but like we said before, if you are getting 6 to 8 to 10 points from a defense, you're pretty content with that. The third pick was the Tennessee Titans, who absolutely dominated the Jacksonville Jaguars. I was thinking that Nick Foles was going to have a good game this week. It did not happen. But the problem lies within the Tennessee Titans defense because their offense did all the work, and the Titans D allowed 20 points, had no interceptions for fantasy points, had 3 sacks and 1 fumble recovery for 6 points. So not super thrilled about that either, but it is what it is. It's not terrible. We'll take that. I'm expecting we're going to have some better, higher scoring defenses this week in week 13. If you guys have been watching these videos in the past, like since week 6, I've been telling you to pick up the Philadelphia Eagles, who have a 3-game stretch against the Miami Dolphins, the Redskins, and the Giants, or the Jets, who play a combination of those teams as well. But we got a couple other ones for you, just in case. So the teams that we're putting up there are always below 50% owned on Yahoo, so they're available in more leagues than they aren't. That doesn't mean they're going to be available in your league. If you're in a really competitive deep league, they're obviously not going to be there. But our picks this week, the Carolina Panthers against the Redskins. This is the only team that I have projected above 8 points this week. So The Skins won last week against the Lions, but they're projected to score less than 16 points, is what Vegas says. And Dwayne Haskins is still under center, which makes them more prone to throwing an interception, putting them above average on interception rate, and slightly above average on the sack rate. So you saw that video, hopefully, of Dwayne Haskins like talking to his offensive line, like, I need help out there, man. I need help. And they just kind of looked at him funny. Well, that's because he's getting sacked more times than he isn't. And that's why we're going to start the Panthers this week. So love the Carolina Panthers this week. I also like the Eagles. I just mentioned this. I've been talking about it. I sound like a broken record. They're still available in a ton of leagues. Go grab them. They play the Dolphins this week. So it's obviously going to be a high tier projection for us this week. Vegas says that the Dolphins are scoring under 19 points this week, which anytime you have Ryan Fitzpatrick under center, he might well run and gun and throw 4 touchdowns, but there's also a pretty good chance that he's going to throw a garbage time interception or anything along those lines that yields some defensive fantasy points for us. So the Dolphins are above average in interception rate. We like the Eagles this week. I also like the New York Jets this week. I just mentioned that. Here's the deal. Andy Dalton's probably back this week. It looks like they pulled the plug on the Ryan Finley experiment. They saw what they needed to see. They still need a number 1 draft pick for a quarterback, apparently, because Finley ain't cutting it. But Dalton doesn't exactly help our projections, okay? The sack rate should be above average because the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line is not good. And I'm expecting that they're going to get some additional points from that. Now, Dalton's less prone to throw picks than Ryan Finley, and it depends on what Jets team really shows up. Like the last 2 weeks have been a totally different team. They absolutely stomped the Raiders this week, but I definitely like the Jets this week. An additional option for you, if you absolutely need it, would be the Green Bay Packers this week. This is kind of like in a lower tier than the 3 of these I would have, but not all of these teams are going to be available in your specific leagues, and I just want to make sure that you guys have that option. So that's what I've got for you this week. If you have any questions on specific defenses or even roster questions for the holiday week, make sure you follow me on Twitter. My DMs are always open. We'll have the link to that down below this video. I want to wish you guys the best of luck this week on your fantasy playoff quest. This is the first year that we've done this channel. We're almost at 300 subscribers, which is crazy. I didn't think that was going to happen at all, but you know, the fantasy advice has helped some people. If I can help you in any way, you let me know. Just drop a question down in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot, allows me to continue to do this. But ultimately, I want you guys to make some money while I make some money playing fantasy and using some of the data that I've uncovered, and we can get into the playoffs, and then we secure the bag. So good luck this week. I will see you soon.
The most important thing in life will always be the people in this room, right here, right now. Salute me, familia.